StudioNext is an opportunity for students and faculty from a diverse series of majors to come together to explore a series of topics through collaboration.
The main reason for that was to reimagine design education for the 21st century. The projects included Pixie Engine, urban farming, eye tracking, Spacebox, and the finance office.
Design education needs to change. It needs to focus on collaboration. It needs to focus on listening to its constituents, to doing research, to making prototypes. And it's not always about making a new object or a new piece of software. Sometimes it's just about helping people to use what is out there more easily.
Students are working with designers, they're working with artists, they're working with projects that are actually live out in the field. So this is an opportunity for students to work beyond the conceptual stage, beyond the prototyping stage, and to actually work in a live environment.
So one of the things that's been most exciting for me working with the finance office is how excited they were to be working with us and how excited we were to work with them, but really their acknowledgement of things that needed to change.
So it's certainly a collaborative project with leaders within the group that pull apart and come back together.
This was actually really smart. This was thought on somebody who doesn't speak English and they're new to the country. Internationally, they're traveling.
With faculty hosting classes.
You cannot stay anymore isolated in your own field.
This was really an opportunity for us to work with some people we haven't met yet and have a different set of skills.
True collaboration is when you create something that you cannot create by yourself.
You learn a lot about other people and how you can work with them, which is really beneficial.
StudioNext, I guess, most simply is an experiment. An experiment in design education and structuring design teams to address current problems.
The interesting thing about working in groups is that there are always going to be minor conflicts of some sort. Some groups work better than others.
I think that is really awesome, but is it worth it for the technology? Probably not.
And that's to be expected, and that's kind of one of the fun parts about working in a collaborative setting.
Innovation has been like the big buzzword for the last decade, and so how do you bring innovation into some of these more static industries that where you're not cultivating creative thinkers necessarily to do the work of those trades.
University of the Arts is pushing against the boundaries of what design education has been and currently is. I think we're preparing our students for a world that we're only beginning to get a glimpse of, where people are working kind of necessity with others from other disciplines.
So it's like a matter of discarding this idea of, what I intend to do, what something should be, and saying, I'm a designer, and I'm going to tackle this as a design problem.
那在这些不一样的讨论，然后这个过程当中，每个人都可以学习成长到很多。那我相信对于将来真正进入设计领域会有很大的帮助。
The future of design and the future for designers is having a strong understanding of how to work with others, and not just in the historic manner of an architect would do the drawings and then an engineer would look at them and then the contractor would build them, but to pull all of them together throughout the entire design process.
We took simple ideas that grew to be very, very complex, and then were often reduced back to their simplest form.
I thought that collaboration is extremely powerful. I think there was a lot of energy in the place. I think that the students were very excited.
StudioNext is a great opportunity for people to kind of get their hands dirty as far as collaboration's going.
In the past, design has been thought of as making objects, making pretty pictures, explaining information simply and concisely.
So what is the role of the designer in a society that's less and less driven by manufacturing? And when you consider it, 80% of our economy are the service industries. So are we educating students to try to plug into the remaining 12%? Or should we open up and consider the 80%, and how do we make design thinking relevant to these other industries that need creativity?
Design is going to become something that is more about collaboration and participation, creating systems and ways of working for people.
I think every student should have to go through a situation like this, to be made to feel uncomfortable. I think the true test of an artist or a designer is that creativity, and students need to foster that more. And I think a situation like StudioNext is incredibly challenging, but that's where your creativity really starts to shine.
Design at University Arts is pushing those boundaries, and it really is well preparing our students for the future of design and creative thinking in general, I would say.